Yes, we are. We took a little bit of a mid-season break.
Did we? Was it us?
I did. I don't know. Did you do some things without me that I'm not aware of? I went on vacation and I thought you were there too.
True. I was there.
Okay.
A time
Okay.
was had. A time was had.
Y'all joined us for some of those shenanigans that we had on Instagram. So thank you for
Yeah, we
participating with us.
appreciate
We had a great time. But we're back. Like you said, we're gonna continue this season on Black Love. It's been a beautiful journey so far.
before we get dipped into the sweets and hot and all of it, I just want to point out that I saw a clip from Issa Rae the other day that said, I don't care how problematic Gen Z feels the movie is, Love and Basketball is a quintessential Black rom-com. And yeah, so I know, but Issa Rae said it. So there's that.
Listen,
Anyway, how you
so
doing, friend?
for anyone who doesn't know, it's been sort of an ongoing point of discussion between us about Hollee's obsession with Black rom-com film.
Yeah.
So she just had to work in this reference to Love and Basketball, and she feels a little more validated, I guess, because Issa said something. And don't misunderstand me. I appreciate a good Black rom-com as well. We're delving into other kinds of Black love this season. So we're just going to be a little bit more broad.
We are, but truthfully, if I'm being honest, this far along, and I'm just mentioning it because it's fun to kind of tick you off a little bit.
Well, that's what friends are for, right?
So what's going on, friend? What's sweet with you?
Well, okay. So before I delve into what's sweet, just want to let y'all know what's on deck. We promised that we would do an episode about Black love between Black fathers and their children. And we are women of our word here at Dip with Sweet and Hot. So we're going to delve into Black fatherly love today. We got a couple of really special guests on hand to help us talk about that. But before we get into that, yes, we're going to do what we always do, which is sweet and hot. I'll go with what's sweet because, I always got something that I can say has been ticking me off lately and making me hot. But I'm going to lean into the sweet today. And I'm just sort of excited because I've been trying my hand and kind of moving into a new space as an artist and moving into more of a content creation space. A lot of you guys follow me on Instagram and on Facebook and on some of the socials. And I have just been having some fun, being more creative, putting some more content out there on a more regular basis. I have a friend who's been helping me a lot with that. Shout out to him. You know who you are.
Out.
And I've been learning a lot and been getting better at that and been having a good time. So it's like an interesting new chapter for me. Y'all can join me for the ride. On Instagram, I am Melodrama. That's with 2 L's. Same spelling of melodrama for my page on Facebook. And yeah, go ahead and follow and come along and have some fun with me.
That is super dope. So we just added another comma. So we've got actor, singer, dancer, content creator.
And I guess you could put podcaster under that content creator umbrella. So let's just call it content creator.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I'm a woman of many talents, Hollee.
You know, my new phrase is I'm a jack of all trades and a master of most.
Most, yes. Yes. Most. I love that. I love that about us.
Oh, just that Black girl magic, as the intro song says. Ooh, shout out to E. Songbird.
E. Songbird,
Chicago talent.
Our beautiful intro that's so appropriate for us. But you had something hot. What's hot? We did sweet. What we got that's hot?
At the time of this recording, what's hot is this DNC traffic. The Democratic National Convention has descended upon the city of Chicago and is chapping the collective traffic asses of every person that is on the street.
Because there's been some protests going on as well.
It's everything. It's protests, it's events happening at some of our larger venues like McCormick Place, but they're in United Center, but they're like dead smack in the middle of residential areas. So yes, the residential traffic is an issue, but the biggest issue are the rolling closures from all the dignitaries flying in, right?
Oh, yeah, because you don't have heads up about that.
You do not have a heads up. So, like, you could be sitting in traffic, Waze or Google Maps will tell you, oh, it'll take you 20 minutes to get to your destination. But oh, here comes Biden and Air Force One. So the police, the state of Illinois, wherever they going, the roads get blocked off. Like, they've lifted the bridges and you're just stuck. You're stuck and you're stuck and you're stuck.
And then you're late.
And you're late.
And then you're late.
And no one cares. No one cares. Oh.
I mean, that reminds me of living in Chicago in the Hyde Park area specifically, which for those of you all who aren't familiar, that is the neighborhood where Barack Obama used to live. And so it reminds me of when Obama was president there in Chicago. Well, when Obama was president, but would come and visit home just because I guess he just wants to come home, which he definitely has a right to do.
I mean, have you seen that house? He better come home at some point.
But then people would be like, Obama's coming. Obama's coming. Stay in the house. Because what it would do to traffic would be nightmarish.
And seriously.
We love you, bro. But
listen,
you stay in DC because I can't go nowhere when you go home. Let
me tell you something. There was not a Chicagoan upset when he and Michelle decided to stay in DC after they vacated the office. We were like, no, you stay right
like
there.
The plague is coming. Okay,
right? Like, you can come visit, but you can't stay here.
So that's what that reminds me of.
So that's my hot for this week, but we do have a hot episode on deck. And I'm saying that it's hot, mainly, Mel, because I'm just nervous. I'm very nervous.
Now, this was your idea.
We got to talk to the booking agent. We got to talk to the booking agent for the show. That would be me. It's
correct. Have a conversation with thyself. Okay.
So, fellow dippers, if you recall a few episodes ago, we featured Jerry and Kirsten, a mother and daughter, speaking about their relationship and parental love and, mother-daughter love. And throughout that episode, Jerry especially, and both of them actually, really highlighted the presence of their father and husband, Titus Cooper, who is with us on the pod today. And so in thinking about Titus and, the type of father that he is, I said, I think we should talk to another father, right? Melanie said, well, who could we get? And I blurted this out and I'm rethinking this every second right now, okay? And so I was like, I know who we should get for the Dipped with Sweet and Hot Public. For those of you who may not be aware, Bobby, also known to the rest of you, because I'm the only one, to the rest of you as Robert Charles, is my big brother. Both of you, welcome to the podcast.
Yay! Yes.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Awesome.
Hello, gentlemen. Awesome. We're glad to have you here.
Jeez, Louise. So, we talked about mother-daughter, and now we're talking about fathers. And I think we may have to, revisit this down the line because we got a couple of girl dads here.
So why don't we let them tell us, about their daughters?
All righty. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
You know what? Let's let Mr. Charles go first because we already know a little bit about Titus's family. So let's let Mr. Charles go first. What you got over there?
Well, I have two daughters, 19 and 15-year-olds. Two sophomores, one in college and one in high school. So my two babies. Yep.
That sounds like a very expensive graduation period.
4 years apart, right?
4 years apart.
Woo. Okay.
Yeah, at least you're on the back stretch. All right, and Titus, what you got over there?
We got 3 girls. Got a freshman in college, sophomore in high school, and I got a 5th grader.
A 5th grader. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Awesome.
We got a ways to go. But
that's
awesome.
I really want to give this shot of Bobby leaning back, thinking about that fifth grader, like, oh, I'm so glad I'm beyond that at this point.
Yes, better you than me.
So, let's start with the good. What is the most unexpected, rewarding thing that you have found, that you've discovered about yourself in your fatherhood journey?
Good question.
Thanks, Titus. Appreciate you.
Yeah. The kids hold up a mirror. Like what you give out, they reflect it back to you. Sometimes you just have to look at them and almost smile and laugh a little bit, because you know where they got that from, or the way that they are, the stubbornness, hard-headed, you name it. All the things you were and are as an adult and a child, your kids reflect that back to you. So you get some of your you get a better appreciation for your parents and what they had to go through, and it brings it full circle. It really does. So it's a blessing. It's a blessing, especially girls. See, when you're a girl dad, it makes you a softer, still stern, but you're softer, more empathy, more sympathy, because you're gonna have that with them. And then so it's helped me be a better man for sure, because I want to be the type of man that I kind of want to be that blueprint, or at least something close to it, where they're like, oh, I want somebody like that, so that's important to me, for them to feel like that.
Them girls got you wrapped around all their fingers, not even just a little one. That's why I'm sorry. And I wasn't being insulted. I was like, Titus is a punk for them girls. I love it,
he
though.
wouldn't
That's
be
beautiful.
alone.
All right, what you got, Rob?
So it's a simple answer, because I think we all have self-interest, and the fact that they're my most selfish interest is rewarding, right? Because the sacrifice and the amount of emotion that you put into making sure that the purpose aligns with the action in terms of how we relate, and making sure that they're happy, and making sure that they learn, making sure that they just grow into good, humble human beings, is just a rewarding experience, right? And I'll be honest, it wasn't anything that I expected. I didn't expect to be a dad like this, but I don't quite see how people are not. Right now, I actually feel bad for people that don't invest in their children the way that, listen, by no means am I mythologizing myself, but what I am saying is that you can't fake time, you can't fake interest, you can't fake sacrifice. And when you know that you're doing those things, to answer your question full circle, it's just very rewarding to do so.
Going back, the most rewarding thing is you didn't realize how selfless you could be?
Well, yes, and also the act of selflessness is rewarding. And the fact that it's not even something, you only think about it when you ask the question. In the moment, it's not even a thought, right? You do whatever you have to do. I'm sure Titus understands that and does the same in terms of just how you relate back to your children, and the depths of things that you will do for them is quite the reward. I'd argue it's probably nothing like it.
I was thinking, I would like for you both to think back to when you were expecting your children, when they weren't quite here yet, but you knew that they were on the way. And I want to know, what were your candid, honest, unfiltered thoughts when you found out it's a girl? And I want to know what that was like for you each time with each of your children. It's a girl versus it's a boy.
Right.
When you found out it was a girl.
So when Kirsten came out, I was happy, that it was a girl, because my mom and my dad, they always wanted a daughter. They never got it. They got two sons. Gotcha. So I was happy for, your first grandbaby is a girl. So I was cool. Malia came, still cool. I'm like, okay, God, you could have gave me a boy, but we riding. And by the time the third girl, I'm like, oh no, see, you know, come on. I tell you, I wouldn't trade my girls in for nothing. And I don't even, everybody like, oh, you need a boy. I'm like, no, I don't. I'm good. Yeah, it's like that. Okay. I couldn't draw it up any better. It wasn't what I expected, or what I would have took a boy, if I could have that magic ball. But again, I couldn't see myself trading in Layla for a Leonard, or anybody else. It's supposed to be Layla, so that's how we ride.
I never expected to have girls, especially the first one. I just knew I was going to have boys. But coming from a family of all women, except for my uncle that married into the family, grandfather died, when I was fairly young, and so being in a matriarchal family, I just for some reason thought I was going to have boys. And when I didn't, it was quite the shock. But like Titus said, man, I just I realized that I'm better suited to raise girls. One, I'm a kisser. Look, not for nothing, you know. I probably wouldn't feel as comfortable kissing a boy, even though you should, as much as I do my girls. To this day, you know, they hate it. You know, I kissed my baby the other day. I just gave her a minute-long kiss on the cheek, and it's great. And when they're babies and the baby girls kissing you, man, that's literally nothing like that in the world. Like you know, the games that we played, I've had eyeliner done and nails painted and lipstick. And I used to make fun of my dad, but my sister would do it. To him, I would call him all type of names that I can't call him now.
Right.
And I'm up here doing the same thing. So, you know,
I love that.
Yeah, having girls opens your perspective, and in terms of my expectation, was certainly different for what I thought it was going to be.
Okay, so I'm going to ask a little bit of a follow-up question. What were your concerns? Like when you, so like Titus, I know you were saying you are happy about having a girl with Kirsten, especially because you didn't have any family. And Rob, you were saying you weren't expecting to have a girl, and you're both very happy that you have them. But what were your concerns, or what are your concerns, are past tense, present tense, about having daughters versus how you think that you might have felt if you had sons?
Being a male in this world, I know how bad men are and can be. Even back then, I was 30 when I had my first child, and whatever concerns I had about or views I had about, you know, feminism and power dynamics and misogyny has increased fivefold. I'm one of those people that believe almost every rape victim or someone that claims, you know, sexual assault or even sexual harassment at work, because I've seen it, and I think we've all seen it on some level. And if I can be frank here, I'm not raising daughters to be someone's screw bag, right? I think people have the ability to, my daughters especially, with the investment that I've made, to be very great contributors to this world, not someone's fuck bag. You know what I'm saying? And that's basically, you know, the approach I take. You know, and Melly, you know, to answer your question specifically, I didn't know that girls could be tough, or I could raise them to be, right? And I got over that really quick, right? I tried to raise them to be. I told my daughter the other day, and again, you have to excuse my language, that she's having some time in life, as we all do. And I'm not sharing anything that I don't think she would mind, but I just told her, man, you need to just develop an attitude. Just tell everybody to suck your dick. Like, real talk. That's how you have to approach things. And, you know, I think she's taking that and heeding that lesson and approach the world with that sort of attitude and that entitlement, to be honest. You know, be kind, don't be nice. Kind's a choice. Nice is a social construct to make people like you and all that. Forget that. Like, be kind, though. And that's what I try to instill in them.
That's a word. Be kind. Don't be nice. Kind is a choice. Nice is a social construct. And in 2024, that's all we're doing is dismantling all of these toxic social constructs. Titus, go ahead.
Concerns, my friend.
You know what? I had Kirsten when I was I think I was 21. I was too young and dumb to really have concerns at that point. You know, when you're young, you feel like you're invincible. So you ain't even thinking about it. There's no fear. You know what I mean? You just living life, enjoying it. Fear came in, or concerns came in, when the dynamic of the relationship with my now wife, she was not my wife when we had our first, when we had Kirsten. The dynamics of the relationship changed. It was in doubt if we was gonna make it. You know, we had some moments where we broke up and we was apart. So now I always envision in my head that we would be together a whole as a family. And when I realized that shit wasn't in my control, I didn't really have as much say in it as I would have liked to have, you know, because it takes two to make that thing work. That's a scary place because it changes the way, you know, changes everything. That definitely was a concern when Kirsten was a baby, because what people don't realize is whatever that relationship was before kids with your significant other is a totally different dynamic once you have kids. So I would recommend anybody, if you're with your loved one, you with your spouse or whatever the case may be, girlfriend, boyfriend, you want to spend as much time together, learn each other, enjoy each other before you jump into having kids, because whatever that thing was, you're going to have to remix it. You're going to have to redesign it, the whole bit. And it takes a lot of work. It's not easy. So that's early on. And then later on, Well, we can talk about now. We took her to Clark, Atlanta. I just came back Saturday. So I had to hug my
Congratulations.
baby. I had to hug her and give her a kiss, and which was tough because when they're up under your roof, you feel like you're in a little bit more control of the situation, and they're right there if they need your help. And now she's a few hours away. Well, more than a few hours if I got to drive, a few hours if I got to take a flight. So that's a little scary. I'm doing okay.
Okay. So I saw Bobby over here nodding his head when Titus was talking about, the dynamic of the relationship with the mother changing during kids. Did you experience some of that?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I was married when divorced now, but with both children, it does change, especially with the first. But you have to adjust, and it can be better or worse. I didn't hear Titus. I didn't hear you say it was necessarily worse, just different, right? And as long as you adjust and figure out a new path with your partner, our issue wasn't that; it was some other things. But I do think that it's better to have a family as a nucleus, but if not, then you just make the best that you can.
How has your co-parenting experience been for you? I mean, you 19 years in.
It's if we were together, we would have had challenges, right? So I'm not saying anything in terms of, or put it to you like this. Let me speak more globally. I have friends and that either had parents growing up that I saw challenges, and I saw people that weren't together that had challenges. So I just think that we're two different people with different backgrounds who approach things differently. But there's times when you have to find consensus. You have to come together to work out for the best interest of your children. I think it's important to make sure that we stay on the same accord in terms of how we approach our relationship with our children. So.
Okay. And then another question. What was your experience? Because Titus just dropped off his baby a couple of days ago. So you're a year in the game. How was that experience reflecting back a year ago?
We're very close. So any separation was going to be tough, but that was particularly bad. I did make a mistake, though. I tried to relate to her how my mother relates to me. Our mom calls us too much. And so I tried not to do the same to my daughter and didn't realize that I visited a lot. She goes to USC out in LA. And so it's a little further away. But, I'd hop a plane and go out there every month. But the in-between time, I was trying to let her be and just found out the other day that,
she was like, why you ain't calling me?
Yeah, exactly.
She need a little bit more, yes.
Yeah. Last words. Don't trip now. So
listen, you done said the wrong thing because I was like, I'm not gonna be that auntie. I'm genuinely not gonna be that auntie. I think our Dipped with Sweet and Hot audience knows that. I think the day after you left, I was on the road and went to go see.
You did mention that before, so she's covered.
She's covered.
Yeah, we actually we'll go back to school tomorrow, so a little different. Then I have a younger one who had just started high school, so that's a big change, and blossoming into a new person at 15, 14 to 15. Some very trying times, and as a male approaching adolescence or going through your teenage years is quite different from what I see women do, or young girls, or growing women rather. And so being cognizant of that, and friendships, and now Instagram and social media and navigating all that stuff, man, it's just, it's something that we have to be aware of. So, I try to stay on top of all the psychological nuances that we can offer, be supportive, be loving, just do what you got to do, man, because I'm trying to raise great girls and great women.
You're talking about girls being in like transition states in life, like, going through those teenage years, going through starting a new school, going away to school, which is something that, both of you guys have daughters who are away, becoming who they will be on their own. And I just thought about boys and dating and relationships and sex and all these things that you have to find a way.
You just gonna choose the most violent question of the day, Melanie?
Listen, I speak for the people. I know that the people listening want to get into it, want to get into the juiciness of some of this. So I'm curious, what that's been like for you as a father. How have you approached having these conversations? How have you received or responded to the boys or young men that have come into your daughter's lives and what their relationships have been or their interactions have been with them? What were some of the rules about dating? Let's get into
I want to
some
hear
of
what
that.
Titus has. I want to hear Titus's answer to this one here.
So early on, I started talking to my girls about sex, 6, 7, maybe 5, because I
Small
didn't want,
children.
yeah, I didn't, when you start in layers, you start talking about it because you don't know what's being talked about when they go to school. I mean, these kids, they have access to the internet, so they're having these conversations early on. So parents are calling their trips, trying to defend their children, but you send them away 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
And they're just exposed to so much. So me knowing that, I just let them know right off the bat. I'm more old school when it comes to, a woman's body or a young lady's body and how she should treat it. I know everybody, a lot of people into casual sex, or a woman can do what a man do and all this kind of stuff. When it comes to sex, I'm not for it. I don't recommend it. Because your end game is to be somebody's wife one day. If you want that, then you need to value your pussy at the end of the day. And I hate to use that verbiage, but the thing about it is, if you're just giving it out, basically for free without any obligation, then why, if I can lease it, or if I can just have it with no responsibility, if not even lease it, if I can just have it without any obligation, then there's no reason for me to buy into the concept of of being with you. And that's what
into the commitment. You
got to make them work. You got to spend, if they got money, you make them spend time. If they got all the time, then you got to get some money. It's all of that. Like, if you're going to give a person all of you, they need to be giving you all of them. So I teach my girls that yourself, but I give them love. And a lot of what I see is when young ladies are moving in a certain way, in a promiscuous way, is because they're not getting that affection from the first man they should have loved, which is their father. So I make sure I do that, kisses, hugs, you take them on dates, whatever they want. Daddy, I want this, I got you. So ain't nobody coming along can do what I can do for them anyway. So, hey, I make these young men put respect on my name. And if you come and mess with one of the Cooper's girls, you're going to put respect on their name and the family name. And so far, like Kirsten, she's dating a young man. I hope they work out, but he's still here. Like, he lives in Kankakee. Now she's in Atlanta, and he came down with us and everything to see her off, help her move into a dorm. Really nice guy. So I want to help him in any way I can, be the best man that he can be for my daughter. So I'm really hands on.
So you're involved. You say you hands on. You talk to him. All of that. Okay.
Absolutely.
Right on.
Okay.
No,
I actually concur with everything. I would only add, I'm a lot more, and I absolutely did not think I would be this way. But as someone who understands or thinks that they understand human nature, I don't want to take someone's agency away from them. But that doesn't mean that your agency doesn't have consequence. It doesn't mean that you can be me or a man in terms of how you express your sexuality or service needs that you may or may not have. And there's a reality to that, right? And so, but at the same time, I do like to demystify sex and take it off the pedestal that it's not a commodity that somebody, it is, yes it is, but it's also something that as a woman, you should have the right to engage with how you choose, but recognize that in the world that we live in, that has consequence, whether it be social stigma or pregnancy or STDs or ... Just understand the partial issue, but I don't focus too much on that. I do focus on relationships and being in them. I think that's a bigger issue, right? And not being in a relationship just to please a woman or a man rather. And listen, it's been making me reflect on some of my behavior because I've been a man of the world and I've had some opportunities out here in the world, and just some of the things that I may or may not done, I try to do a little bit better on that, right? And model behavior that's even not married, that is a little bit more responsible.
So, that actually leads me to my last question. I don't know if Mel has another, but because you both started having children in the early 2000s, right? And during that time, I would say that was probably maybe coming down off of the peak of that, Black fathers not in the home and, single mothers and Black men need to do more and do better. How has that posture or that stigma surrounding Black men and Black male parents in general, has that had any bearing? Has that guided how you have chosen to raise your girls, your interactions with them? Has that had any bearing on the choices that you've made?
Let me reframe the question, Hollee. I think that social stigma was not something I was concerned about, but aware of. And so I'm not trying to combat a narrative. I'm trying to raise my children. So I'm not, I'm not trying to pathologize myself and be the great Black father, right? Because that's a diminishing returns. What I do think, though, is that nothing is much different from what it always has been. There are great fathers back in the day. They're great fathers now. There's some crap guys out there that don't put the time in, and I do feel sorry for them. Don't judge them, because there's probably some other things that make their journey different from mine. I do think they're missing out, and to your first question, they're missing out on a reward that can't be superseded by anything. And I would challenge anyone to show me a better experience than raising your children, especially your daughters.
Titus?
I mean, I had two parents in the household, so it didn't make me be like, oh, I got to make sure I do it for my kids because it's not being done anywhere else. So no, it didn't have any bearings for me. My kids, I see, a lot of their friends, come from single parent households, and that middle one, I had to get on her. I'm like, listen, if your friends or something say something slick to you, don't hit them with that. Don't hit them with, at least I got a daddy at home, please. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't do that, because you don't know, be thankful that you got a father in the house and just roll with that. But you don't want to do that because it's trauma. It's trauma along with that you could never understand. Fathers are needed.
What'd you say, Bob?
No, I said that's a good one though, but no, don't use it though.
Yeah. Nah, when you know you got it going on, or you blessed, you don't need to do that, because it ain't no telling where that baby's mind is. When you tell them that, they probably is low self-esteem, I'm sure, already, and it doesn't help. So sometimes you got to take the high road and just realize that people act out of hurt a lot of times, and when you laugh at them. It's like, okay, you're throwing a fit. It's sometimes it's just best to take the higher road, because you would hate to have something where you come to school and now that little girl that you sent that shot, she done killed herself. And I know at the end of the day, it wouldn't have been your fault, because if she would have killed herself over that, life is still gonna life, and she probably would have did it for something else. However, you don't even want that on your conscience. So just take the high road. As long as somebody don't put their hands on you, just let them be. Go about your day.
Just like something about that mama, and keep it moving,
Yeah, I mean, right. If they got that, you got some kids ain't got mama or daddy, so
right.
I hear you. Well, listen, guys, we only got a little bit of time left. I was trying to think of a good one to try to wrap our conversation up. We've been talking about your relationships with your children, whom you both love very much. And so I'm curious, I have, I guess, a two-part question. I'm thinking of some of the ways that my father expressed his love to me, like what his love languages have been toward me, because my father is a girl dad too. He doesn't have any sons. I'm curious, what are some of those love languages? And I'll give you an example. One of my father's love languages to me has been, especially recently, since we don't live in the same city anymore, when I go to visit, he stocks the house with snacks that I like. And he will I remember one time he came and picked me up from the airport, and he had my favorite kind of chips in the car, ready for me to eat immediately after I landed. And so I'm curious, what have been some of your love languages that you have used to express your love to your daughters? That's the first part. The second part is, what do you want your daughters to know that maybe you've never said to them?
Ooh, nice.
I'll take that first one.
Okay.
The best way I've shown love to my daughters, believe it or not, is loving on their mother.
Okay.
Because in doing that, it lets them, they learn so much from that, because now they're looking at that, they say, okay, I know how I want my man that I'm going to have is going to treat me, what it looks like, how I want to be treated. And then of course, me loving on them is, kisses, hugs. Whenever they ask for something, they're getting it. You know what I mean? Dad, I want this. Let's go out to eat. Hey, it's a Tuesday, right? Every time we go out to eat, it's like $100, right? You know what I mean? Just for like something quick, But at the end of the day, they get what they want, and they know how to double team me too. So now I always tell my girls, you need to work together. So what they'll do is, if I tell one no, now they're gonna be like, well, all two or three are gonna, yeah, well, we really want to, we really got a taste for this. Now if they all come to me, it ain't no way I can tell all
plotting.
3 of them no. No
Listen,
way. Yeah, so
teamwork makes the dream work.
Hey, I told them that. So, they use it against me, and I appreciate that. So I let them live with that. I don't know if it's anything that I haven't said to them.
I don't buy that for us. Listen, I know Titus has said everything.
It would just be to reaffirm that I love them, and I do what I do for them so they can be comfortable and be productive young ladies and go out here and to not need a man, but to want a man. You know what I'm saying? Like that. That's the motto. No, you don't need a man. So, because you know how to open that door for you. But guess what? If you with a man, let him open the door for you. I know you know how to open the door, but you just let him do that. So I practice it. We out. Don't touch the door. You already know. Stand there and wait on me until I get there to open up that second door. Just because I'm teaching them, hey, you want to be treated in a certain way, you demand that. You don't ask for respect. You demand it.
Come on.
Okay.
All right, Bob, what you got?
We have traditions, and I try to stick to that. I've become I'm like my mom in the sense where I cook food that they like. I'm half Creole, and so I believe in a lot of salt and butter or fat rather, and stuff. And so I've become an expert in like making pancakes, for example. Right. The reason I did that was because it was something that I know, and that, like, this is homemade pancakes, buttermilk pancakes. We have on Sundays, and it's our little tradition. Or waffles, or my oldest daughter has a seafood allergy, so I had to figure out some other opportunities to impress her with recipes. But one is food, and then we just do a lot. We do a lot. Like, we go out a lot. I remember I took them on vacation to New York one time. They were young, and we went to like an Angela Yee brunch.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, so it was like twerking with a side of eggs. Right.
A very memorable experience.
Yeah, exactly. So just introducing new stuff, just having fun, and in terms of like Titus, it's not too much I haven't said. I mean, they know that I will knock somebody's fucking block off. Right? So it's not a question. They've seen me in action before, which is good. Like, organically. Like, I'm not trying to have any problems, but if they present,
correct,
it'll be addressed. And I just got their back and their support until I'm not here anymore. And even after that, right? And I'm gonna pull a Trump on you. I'm gonna answer a question that you didn't ask.
Okay.
Oh, hell.
Go ahead, do it.
So, one of the things that's been helpful for me, and I'm not just saying this because she's here, is that I've had a great support system, right? Especially being a single dad, right? On some level. So, Auntie Hollee, as you guys know, to my chagrin sometimes, because you guys know a little bit too much about my children. For a private person, she's been extremely helpful in helping raise and being an auntie and giving her a perspective that I can't have.
Thank you.
She doesn't do hair as good as I do.
But,
Listen, that's a different story, y'all.
Melody, my hairdo is a lot of grease, slick back and ponytails.
That's right. You in and out. You in and out. It don't even take all that, huh?
In and out. And obviously my mom and aunt and cousins and everybody else as well. So especially my mom, more than anything. So, it's been a lot of fun, man. And to be honest, I see how when single women who only had sons and their sons become their husbands, I get it. I get it. I got 3 more years. I was a sophomore in high school.
Then be an empty nester.
Yeah, and then I just told them the only thing I ask is that when I'm older, because I don't want them to have the responsibility of taking care of me, especially if I'm single, just vary the times that you come visit me in the home. Right?
Okay.
I don't want you to come every Tuesday at 10, because what I don't want is for Thursday to be stick the broomstick up Mr. Charles's ass day. Because his daughter
you gotta pop up on them. Y'all can't let the staff don't need to know when y'all coming.
So look, this is a real, true, and factual story, and then I'm gonna close this conversation. So I dropped the girls off at the hair salon one day, and I'm talking to the hairstylist, who I have the same hairstylist. And they asked me to go make a coffee run. So Auntie Hollee goes and makes a Starbucks run. And I come back and I said,
kids in a Starbucks.
Right.
Anyway,
I said,
continue.
listen, all I ask is, I said, y'all don't have to take care of me. But all I ask is that you just somebody come visit me regularly so that I don't get bed sores. That's all I ask. And
both of y'all already anticipating being mistreated by the staff.
Right. So look, so then the hairstylist, this is how much she knows our family. She says, well, wait a minute, what they gonna do with their daddy? And I was like, oh, I forgot. I was like, new plan. Put me and him together and let's just get a nurse. Because me and him together in the home ain't gonna get it.
Well, listen, families talk about these things, and y'all, that was crap. Oh, that one took me out.
Gentlemen, this has been such a treat and such a pleasure.
I got one more thing before we go.
Okay,
I definitely want you all to have me back when you do the Black relationships, because I got a lot of tea. I got a lot of insight on that. It's so needed between a man and a woman. You know, the Black relationship definitely needs to be addressed, because that ties into the relationship with the daughters and the sons, right? You got to start with that.
And
so
Melanie,
between the Black man and Black woman, there's a disconnect. So it's a conversation need to be had.
Absolutely. And you know what?
The men need to be in the building for it.
Correct. Look, he said, I'm going to advocate. Okay. I hear you, Titus. I hear you. And you know what? That is of course, when we talk about Black love, one of the first things that pops into people's minds is romantic love. So we have intentionally been shining a light on other kinds of Black love this season, but don't y'all worry.
Oh,
We are going to talk about the romantic love relationships between Black people as well. So Titus, noted, sir. We're going to make a note. I'm going to send an email to our booker.
Don't call me.
Rob said, and you can leave me out of that.
Let me tell you something. Do you guys know the best thing that happened to Black women the last 3 years?
Oh, what happened?
2 years. My boy Kevin Samuels dying.
Oh.
He was messing y'all up. Body blow. I'm joking, kind of, sort of. So.
Joking, but not really.
Rest in peace, Kevin Samuels.
R.I.P., bro.
But you know, God called him home.
Oh my goodness,
He was mean. He was mean. You know, he didn't. I didn't like the number, the rating of the numbers. I didn't like that.
Okay.
But a lot of what he said was on point. Like the rating system, I didn't care for that. You know, that don't mean anything. He has some good points. You know, he has some good points.
Melanie, I thought we had satisfied our Titus requirement this season.
Titus said he coming back.
He coming back.
And yes, we would love to have you back, sir. Thank you guys.
It'll be the best show yet. I guarantee that. It'll be the best. It'll be the best show. It'll be the best show
ratings through the roof.
Come on. You better talk to him. I got a lot to say.
Robert Charles, Titus Cooper.
Yeah.
Fathers of the Year. Thank you very much. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you. And thank you for your love. Thank you for your love to your Black children, your Black daughters. You guys are raising Black women, and these two Black women love you for it. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
And with that, my name is Hollee Chanel.
I'm Melanie Lauren, and this is Dip. This is Hot.
Holla.